Hey, baby. So, look, I have something interesting for you guys today. So, before I get started, my name is T Styles. I am the CEO of the Elite Writers Academy, where I teach writers how to build their book empires through knowing how to properly understand story structure and through marketing. And today I'm going to discuss with you 16 ways to market your book. Why, Toy, are we talking about marketing books? We talk about marketing books because my brothers and sisters in pen, a lot of us, when we begin to write our books, for some reason we overlook a major part of that. And a major part of that is marketing. So I'm going to help you with that. And I want you to understand why that's a problem, first of all, why some of us struggle so much with the marketing aspect. We struggle a lot with the marketing aspect because we are creative beings. We are into going inside of our minds, getting those ideas, putting them on paper, and then putting it out to the world. After that, most of us just want to go to the next book. But guess what? You can't do that. You're going to have to make sure, especially in this day and age where everybody's writing a book, that you do all you can on your end, whether you have a publisher or not, to get that book out there. So I'm going to give you some 16 things you can do. We're going to go over these as quickly as possible. Okay. First, I want you to understand when you pick a process, do it for 60 days and stick with it. I created a marketing writer, publisher, marketing book planner, which I'm going to list below. And the reason why I pump over and over and over and over and over again to do things for 60 days is because you're giving yourself a chance to make sure that it works. So when you choose these processes, whether it be you take the whole 16 or whether you just take 2 or 3, give it enough time to work, okay? Don't just jump to the next thing. Okay, the first thing you want to do is, if you don't have a base already, you want to conduct reader interviews, okay? This is important. The reason why you want to conduct reader interviews is you're trying to find out who your target audience is. And that's going to come into play later on into the book. I teach a creative way of doing that, and that's through my character questionnaire sheet, where I have my students at the Elite Writers Academy actually interview their characters. So they're essentially spending time with themselves based on the character they've chosen and then asking their character a bunch of questions. That sheet is generally used for story development, but if you do a good enough job, you can also use that sheet to target your audience, because you'll find that your leading character and your audience will have a lot of similarities. So you want to try and interview as many people as possible. You can either use that sheet and or people who are around you who are interested in your genre. Just interview them. Ask them, different things about what do they like? Where do they like to go to eat? What do they like to watch on TV? Where do they like to go and dress? Record these interviews. Try to get at least 4 to 5 interviews. The more, the better, because that information is going to, again, allow you to have the material you need to target your audience when we talk about paying for actual marketing ads, whether it be on Facebook, Instagram, or wherever you're going to do that at. Okay? Now, that's if you have a reader base. You can interview your audience. If you don't have a reader base, then what you want to do is try to write a short paragraph or use that interview sheet and then come up with your ideal target audience. Do this before you start really doing any promotions. Even if you pay somebody, they're going to do this part and they're going to probably charge you more because it's not done. Have this ready already. So if you don't have a reader base, sit down and think, who are you marketing to? Where do they go shop? Where do they get their hair done? That's why I was saying use the interview sheet, because a lot of times your main characters actually have a lot of similarities. And then get an idea of who that person is. That's the first aspect of your marketing. Even if you're paying marketers, they're going to do that first, okay? The next thing you want to do is you want to create an author website. Even if it's one page, it does not have to be elaborate, guys. You want to make sure that you start solidifying your presence on the internet. This is marketing. So a lot of writers, for whatever reason, don't have websites, and it's bananas. So you want to make sure that you get your website, okay? That's the third thing. And I'm not going to do these things and try to keep these numbers because I don't have them numbered, but I have them written down. The next thing you want to do is build a mailing list on your website, okay? You want to make sure that you have a place on your website that you can pull your audience and your readers' email addresses. Don't listen to people when they tell you that emails lists are dead. They are still live and kicking. And in fact, you may not want to always put your books on Amazon or Google or wherever. You may put it just on your website. And guess what? You're not going to be able to have anybody to sell to if you don't have this email list. So having an email list is a part of marketing, and it's necessary. The next thing is you want to make sure that you get a really good cover designer. There are plenty of places to do it, and back in my day, I was paying a lot of money. You don't even have to pay a lot of money, but you want to make sure that you are nailing down somebody that's really good for you, okay? Because your book cover is a part of marketing. Don't believe people when they tell you that people don't judge a book by its cover, because they do. So make sure that you have a good book cover, okay? Now, if your book is already out, consider relaunching with a new cover. Redesigning a new cover is a good way to invigorate sales because, like I said, people do buy book covers, okay? So consider doing that. Maybe you can have a relaunch. You always want to make sure that you aren't trying to fool people. Let people know, in the descriptions that this is a republished book or whatever, that you're not necessarily republishing, you're just changing the cover. Always be honest. But again, it may, for some reason, bring something up into a reader who's looking for something to buy, looking for a reason to buy your book, and the cover may just do that. The next thing is make your book available for pre-order. For whatever reason, we don't do that, okay? You want to try and do at least 60 days. The more, the better, because the longer you have your book available for pre-order and people are actually ordering, the easier it is for you to become a bestseller. Okay, all of my books become a bestseller. Sometimes I drop books right away, but I have a fan base too. But sometimes it'll be a little bit longer. So you want to make sure that you give yourself at least 60 days. And that's a minimum. The more, the better. To really market that book, promote that book, and push that book out there. Okay? The next thing is, if possible, provide advanced copies to readers. Now, be sure you aren't trying to buy reviews. Don't do anything janky like that. You don't want your account to come down. But get legitimate readers who are interested in reviewing and speaking about your book when it's done. Your only job, your hard work should have been done at this point. If you have followed the story structure and you understand the importance of writing a good story, then you should find somebody that will enjoy that book. If you need help with that, you can get my page-by-page book planner, which is also in the description. But try to, make sure that you giving your book out with the understanding that they will give you their honest opinion and also review the book, okay? Also, make sure you provide links around your social media accounts to your book. This is marketing. People don't understand what marketing is. Marketing is making sure your book is available in as many formats and in as many ways possible on the internet, okay? It's putting your book in the way of people at all times. Not everybody's on Instagram. Not everybody's on Facebook. Not everybody's on Twitter. Not everybody's on TikTok. But you need to be everywhere. So you want to make sure that there are links on these sites that you are actively promoting on for your book, okay? Consider selling t-shirts, cups, jewelry, framed art. If you have a budget, consider doing these things. If nothing else, during the pre-order stage to build, anticipation for your books. Okay. Even consider temporarily discounting your book. I don't necessarily like free. I do participate in the KDP program, and the reason is for my one series war, because I understood that with that series, I'm getting access to a readership that I wasn't getting access to before. But the majority of my other books are paid. But I allowed the war series to be on their KDB program. But there's still a cost to buy my book. So I don't necessarily like free. Some people do. I don't. But make the best decision that's based on you, based on how long you've been out. That's a decision you want to make. But a discount may be the thing that's necessary to have somebody buy your book. Okay? Sign up for HARO, and it's actually called Help a Reporter Out. And what that is you can go to this website, let a reporter know, guess what? I'm in this area. I just dropped a book. Do you want to write about me? And think about, have something before you approach them that is interesting. Really be willing to open yourself up, because nobody wants to interview you if you're boring. But you'll be surprised what happens. And another thing what happens too is, say you do get a reporter who's interested in telling your story, a few links here and there from articles from reputable newspapers or agencies. Before long, you can get a wiki page, which is also solidifying your presence on the net. Okay? Consider doing a video series leading up to your book. Long time ago, long time ago, I did that for my series, The Silence of the Nine, and I'm going to probably end up doing it again for my Treason series. But a long time ago, I did that. It was very effective. It may even be on YouTube. If I can find it, I'll link one of the videos down here. But I did this whole little snippet of leading up to Silence of the Nine, and it just really took off from that. Okay? So you just want to do video series talking about coming soon. I got real creative with it, like little segments of somebody being held in a room. Like, I went all out. Just find the way that's best for you. It could be just a series of you talking about the book. It can be a series of you just talking about the characters. You're going to have to get creative. But if you do a video series leading up to the launch, it can be really, really fun. Host a book release party when it's actually time to actually publish your book. Host a party. Make it fun. Think about getting fellow authors to come on there and celebrate with you. Have a theme, maybe wine and cheese, or maybe a theme that's based on your book, if it's in a certain area, or if it's sci-fi, or if it's vamp life. Maybe you can come dressed up as vampires and ask your readers to do that too. Think of a theme for your book release party. That is definitely also marketing. Okay? Participate in panels that you're invited to. Sometimes we don't want to do panels and come out and talk, but you want as many eyes on you as possible. I do a lot of panels on Clubhouse because Clubhouse is very, effective for me. It's been a very lucrative business for me by being on Clubhouse, so I stay on Clubhouse as many times as possible. And a lot of the times I'm on Clubhouse, I'm by myself. I'm a wealth of knowledge, girls. But a lot of times I participate in panels with other guests, with other bosses. And whenever I do, it's always informative, and I always get more eyes on my businesses and find myself in connection with more readers and people who are looking to buy my service. My consultations on Elite Writers Academy, is very profitable. That is available to me because of my willingness to do panels, okay? So you don't have to do everything on your own. So those are the things that you can do for marketing. I have many more ideas that I discuss with my students at the Elite Writers Club. So if you have any questions, let me know. Please subscribe to get more of this, and I will be back soon. Be back soon. Bye.